Kiefer.
Eric.
How's it going?
Doing great. How about you?
Pretty good.
Feeling full of pep and high energy.
Yeah?
On this beautiful... Oh, there goes your beer.
Oh, shit. It's everywhere.
Welcome to a sweaty, hot Vancouver summer morning. Afternoon, something. We had the best intentions of starting earlier, but it's way too hot now.
It won't stop.
Just drink faster.
It's everywhere.
I don't know what... That's how I gotta fix it.
It's on my... It's everything.
You got a spare towel over there?
I do.
Yeah, there you go.
It's... Oh, gosh. This is such a classic start.
Oh, wonderful.
No, the towel that's holding my the ice pack at the back. It's still go.
All right. This is an unmitigated disaster.
No. We still got this. We can save it. We can save it.
We can bring it back again. Oh, don't mind us. Eric and I are enjoying a beer on what has got to be the most beautiful fucking afternoon in Vancouver in a long time. Partially because it's sunny and hot outside. We're sitting here lounging on my couch with ice packs on our backs and beers in our hand.
This is the fastest I've ever enjoyed a beer.
But also because we just wrapped up on Storks. Can I get a clink for that, Eric? There we go. Yeah, I like that.
No, not working.
Congratulations. We finished another movie.
Yay.
Cheers to that.
We'll post a picture to show just how far away we are.
Woo! Yeah.
From each other.
Please tell me you got a picture of me slouched here on my floor.
Oh, and a video.
In my beanbag. Good. I'm glad this has been documented. Me in a beanbag with my feet almost above my head.
I'm covered in beer, man. Oh, God.
Are you still gouging over there?
God, Eric. I'm gouging. I already drank half this thing. It's been like 3 minutes.
Well, we're off to a great start.
Oh, welcome to the Film Buzz.
Welcome to the Film Buzz, everybody.
Oh, it's a podcast about movies by two guys who make them. If you haven't caught on. If this is episode 1 of the Film Buzz.
Film Buzz. Welcome, Eric.
Off to a great start.
Good to see you here.
We could be reached.
Film Buzz office.
The Film Buzz office.
Yeah.
We could be reached on Twitter at the Film Buzz or email us podcast at thefilmbuzz.com. Kiefer,
Eric.
have I stopped buzzing, bubbling over yet?
Yeah, I think so. I think you stopped spilling beer everywhere.
I'm gonna smell like booze all the way home, and I just this is not what I was expecting.
Yeah, really.
I had all my notes ready and everything, and then
Now your phone's covered in beer.
Right?
Now my couch is covered in beer.
my pants are covered
Pants
in beer,
covered in beer. Everything's just covered in beer.
except for the microphone.
Good start to an evening.
Man, oh,
Eric, how you doing?
I'm the adrenaline's up
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, no, I'm good. We were gonna talk about Star Trek.
Let's jump in. We just finally got a chance to see Star Trek. Let's jump in and talk about that.
Yeah, actually, well, you mentioned we just wrapped on Storks. We are filmmaker. Well, we call us filmmakers.
Yeah.
We're in the film industry.
Yeah.
Both lighters over at Sony Pictures ImageWorks.
Yep. I met Eric first of all when I started at DreamWorks back in the day.
Yeah. I spent about 7 years there in Glendale, and you bounced around a bit.
I mean, a little
since
bit.
then.
Yeah. Yeah. Then Eric and I finally moved back together in the same city and decided to get the old band back together.
Yeah.
Going with the third iteration of this podcast now.
I think so.
Yep. Third incarnation.
Yeah, under previous names.
Well, things change. Time goes along. I just got to move with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, but Storks, yeah, we just wrapped that up this past week.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of fun.
It was. I came on a bit later in the production than you did. You were on for what, 7 months?
About 8.
8?
I started in November, and it's now August. So
Yep.
I can't math.
Whatever. Yeah.
I don't know how to do like calendar math. Was it a leap year? Does that make a difference? No, it doesn't make a
That's
difference.
why I'm all in favor of the European Union getting that decimal clock finally off the ground.
Decimal clock?
Yeah, they want to switch over to a decimal-based time system. There's no more fucking 12 hours and a half a day, 24 hours in a day, 60 seconds to a minute, blah, blah, blah bullshit. Everything divisible by 10 always.
I like that idea. Is that the transition to the Star Trek, like Captain's Log, Stardate, blah, 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 dot, whatever?
Yeah, exactly. Captain's Log, Stardate, whatever, dot, whatever.
You got to say that like Picard. No one does it better than Picard.
Captain's Log. No, that's not very good.
Tea, Earl Grey, hot.
Yeah.
I got to watch that whole series again.
I can do better Riker. Because Riker is just a generic white dude with a goatee. So
you got the beard for it.
80% there already. Thank you. I've been working on my Riker beard for a while.
Riker beard.
Yeah.
No, that's a great transition actually, because finally my beer has stopped buzzing or like bubbling. I keep calling it buzzing, but no, we just recently saw Star Trek Beyond.
Yeah, not at the same time, unfortunately, but
No, but it's all good. You were there in spirit.
God, it was such a good movie.
It was a good movie, and man, I don't want to be like immediately a downer, but the box office was not great for that.
No, the fall off was so fast. Holy shit!
It was kind of ridiculous.
It was 60 and 60% after the first 2 weeks, right?
58.2 and 59.5. So yeah, pretty
Jesus,
close.
That's pretty nasty.
Those are drops
So okay, yeah, we're talking about the
from week to week.
yeah, weekly. Is that weekly or weekend?
Weekly.
I mean, 90% of weekly is weekend.
Yeah.
Revenue.
Yeah, like opening weekend was 59 million. The second weekend was 24.7 million.
And what was I don't have the box office mojo up right now. What's the budget on this?
185 million.
That's right. Yeah, Jesus, that's pretty big.
And a domestic total of, as of this recording, 139.7 million.
So yeah, we've talked about this in a previous episode, but the return on domestic is what, about 45 to 50%? It's about half, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you basically you take your film budget and you double it by, or you double it.
Yeah, but not counting that part. The amount of money that the production company actually gets back from domestic box office numbers, like money actually going back to the people who made the movie.
That's a good
is roughly
question.
half. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
We went over this in an article.
Yeah.
You're right. There is also an advertising budget on top of that, but that doesn't always get paid by the studio. Sometimes get paid by other distribution agencies and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, but the general rule of thumb is you take your budget and you double it.
Whatever the announced budget is, double that for advertising, trailers.
That's what you need to make
ads.
in your gross gross runtime income box office in order to start making a profit.
And are you talking about domestic box office or world box office? World, okay. Yeah, the return on foreign box office outside of the United States, and I guess presumably Canada, because no one ever talks about Canadian box office.
I guess not.
Is on average, it varies because studios will get different negotiations with different countries, with different film theater agencies, and even different governments based on what sort of taxes and benefits they can get out of it. Like, for example, China dictates an awful lot of like how much money is actually returned to the state for movies that are brought in. So the amount that's actually returned to the production studio for foreign box office is somewhere between 15 to 20% of the actual numbers.
Jeez.
Yeah. So let's say they make $10 million in Russia, which is a pretty good number for Russian box office. Studio is actually getting $2 million of that in hard money.
That's not a lot.
No, it really isn't.
Man.
Yeah.
But that's all boring numbers. What'd you think of the movie?
I liked it.
I liked it too.
I really did. It was everything that I felt like Into Darkness wanted to be.
Yeah.
Where it was a fun, awesome action sci-fi movie, but the story was kept simple enough that it didn't really matter where it didn't make sense.
It had enough of the hokey like sci-fi play along type stuff where there were moments when I'm watching the film where I'm like, that shouldn't make any sense at all, but it was fun enough that I didn't care.
It passed like the threshold of awesomeness where you just don't give a shit.
Right. I was like, this wouldn't make any sense or wouldn't possibly work, but I don't care.
For example, if they had played anything else except for Beastie Boys.
Wait. Spoiler alert.
Okay, yeah, spoiler alert.
If you haven't seen it, turn this off or skip ahead.
Yeah. Just go see it. Well,
just go see it.
If you still can. We couldn't see it anymore in downtown Vancouver because it's long since moved out of theaters here.
It's getting bumped after 4 weeks.
Yeah, if they hadn't... Yeah, we'll talk about
5
that.
weeks.
We'll talk about that No, 3. It had 3 weeks of... Sorry, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
4 weeks
so
of
this
run.
is the 5th week. Right?
It's already out by now. It's already gone by now.
Oh, shit.
It's already been bumped.
All right.
Yeah.
That's the shame.
What are we talking about? Oh, yeah. If it hadn't been Beastie Boys they were blasting as the music they pumped through the alien communication array to disrupt the drones
and explode them in like glorious balls of fire.
You know what? Yeah, what I loved before that was like the 15 straight seconds they spent with all the characters doing talking headshots, just yelling science back and forth.
Yeah.
The flux capacitors are out of array, but we can use the RF signal to disrupt the enemy jamming system.
Didn't matter.
Won't that override the navigation components? It's okay. The starboard nacelles are in line.
Yeah. It was just, it was like, it didn't matter. Didn't matter what they said.
Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
No, it was perfect. It was like, that's exactly what it felt like. They were just screaming words at you that sounded smart.
Yes. Star Trek-y themed words.
And then you're like, all right, well, explosions.
I saw that criticism in a webcomic. I think it was not Sluggy Freelance, User Friendly, years ago. Someone criticized like the Star Trek, especially the Next Generation series, of TV shows as just being like, it's just a show where every single episode, it's the particle of the day that caused whatever the fuck it was. Whatever space nonsense they come up with to name the bullshit that happens to everybody.
Space AIDS.
Space AIDS, yeah.
Man. No, I liked that movie, and I thought, like, it was a shame that it didn't get a whole lot of traction, and it doesn't have long legs to really stick it out in theaters, because this is gonna be written down as a flop. They're gonna look at this, and there's a strong chance it's gonna get a write down.
Yeah,
in the studio.
God, it's already starting to phase out of theaters. I think if we look at the weekly, it'll tell us the theater count. Theaters over change. Okay, it looks like it actually hasn't lost many screens. It did lose 700 screens the second week, which is not a huge drop. It was still in 3,200 screens at that point.
Well, wait a minute. 700 screens the second week?
Yeah.
I don't know how many movies do that. I've usually seen like about the same or even an uptick of like a dozen or so screens.
But it had 4,000.
Oh shit, that's a lot.
That's not a huge change. It's still on 3,000 screens. Like what's maximum saturation in the US? Like 5,000 something?
Something like that. We should look at Star Wars, whatever theirs was. No, that's true, because I think the average is something like 3,500 screens or whatever. So that sounds it was more.
I'll check IDR. I'll check Independence Day Resurgence, because that's a current a similar film of similar like hype level approximately.
Sure.
And I know someone's gonna fucking say, "Oh no, it's not," but whatever. It's close enough.
We have a
weekly
whole set of opinions on that movie.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. In its third week, IDR lost 1,000 screens.
Oh my god!
From 4,000 down to 3,000.
Okay, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's more.
I think it's pretty typical to see a reduction. If you saw a drop of like half,
yeah,
then I'd be like, "Whoa, what the fuck's going on there?" But I guess it makes sense for films to lose a couple of screens because, you know, when something's out for its first weekend, most recently was Suicide Squad.
Right.
We saw it come up. That is going to be on every single screen. That's going to be on their big 3D screens. It's going to be in the biggest like IMAX experience or whatever AAX full surround sound. I think Scotiabank Theaters, which is part of Cinemax up here, even has like rumble seats or something.
Oh.
I think they have like seats that rumble and actually have speakers built into them, so you're more quote unquote immersed in the experience.
That's
whatever.
Kind of cool.
You pay like a couple extra bucks for it, yeah. And as you saw, the Barco Escape feature,
I was just gonna say, talking about like getting more in the experience.
Yeah,
that did not do it.
They'll have let's get to that in a second. They'll have those, but those will pan off after the first couple weeks. It's no longer the big thing.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, let's talk about Barco Escape for a second.
Man. Okay, so you saw it in a standard theater, right?
Yes, regular old, one of the small screens. It wasn't Scotiabank's best.
I saw it in the Barco Escape theater with the experience, right?
Right.
I don't know where this came from, and on paper it sounds like an interesting idea. You have a central screen with two accompanying screens on the side that make like these three panels, and it's meant to, or the idea is that the accompanying left and right screens are in your periphery. And so during high action moments in the film, there's extra content on the side that makes it even more immersive, right?
Yeah.
Sounds like a cool idea. Problem is, the central screen is actually smaller than your average theater screen. So it's not like they added two other screens to this. They basically just gave you three panels of a smaller thing.
Right.
And then the panels on the other side actually have independent projectors that are not always on. So, I mean, the projectors are probably on, but they're showing black. So when you get to the high action sequences, you'll see like extra shit pop up, which is not actually in your periphery. It's mostly in front of you in your central field of vision. And so it's just distracting. And there were a couple of shots where they, you could tell that they had spent the money to kind of add additional content to the high quality image in the center. And then there were other shots where they definitely just punched in to make the resolution work, or the screen space work.
That's just an unforgivable cinema sin, because what was the thing everyone shat on for Clash of the Titans? Shitty, half-assed, last-minute stereo.
The 3D
right?
conversion, yeah.
If you half-ass any part of the last conversion of a movie, it's going to look like garbage.
It ruined a lot of the experience, where it was so distracting that it took me out of the movie so many times. I was just fed up with it.
And that's what that is. It's half-assing something. It's saying, well, we didn't shoot the movie or render it or plot it or budget it to be a Barco Escape compatible film.
It was such a last-minute gimmick
Now, did you look into the actual history of the Barco Escape experience?
No.
It was originally created in 2014.
Okay.
The Barco Escape was used for Maze Runner. That was the first one ever projected using the Barco Escape system, which actually had a giant ad up here at Scotiabank in the Cinemax theaters, by the way. So
Okay.
there must be some collusion there in which companies do the distribution versus
Sure.
which theaters have got all this. There's only 24 of them in the world right now.
Oh, well, I feel special.
Yeah, right. Let's see. It was used for a concert. What was that concert? Because I just saw it here. I'm reading in the Wikipedia article. In September 2014, Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga, which is a very interesting combination of talent.
Okay. No, when you said Tony Bennett, first thing I thought it was Tony Robbins, the motivational speaker.
Yeah, and Lady Gaga.
It's like, what?
It's a very esoteric performance in Brussels, Grand Place Plaza, to remark the release of their cheek-to-cheek jazz record, Okay. Concert was filmed using 15 red Epic Dragon cameras.
Nice.
And
15?
And reproject 15. Well,
why do you need that many?
Multiple angles, I guess.
Oh, all right.
If you wanted to have, because if you're doing Barco Escape and you want to do it and actually make use of those screens, you're going to need, I guess, 2, maybe probably 3 cameras, because your center screen has got to be your primary.
Yes.
Little technical fact, even if you have a very large resolution sensor, even if you're filming with a very wide lens, image quality is always going to be better in the very center of the lens.
Yeah.
That's where your focus is the sharpest. That's where you get the least amount of aberrations. And in today's films, we actually sort of we like the aesthetic of having slightly out of focus around the outside of a picture.
It creates a vignette.
A little vignette. Yeah, it's kind of like chromatic aberration is everywhere in Star Trek. Around the corners you look, there's all kinds of red and green fringing. Storks actually did that too in their visual style. You can see it in the trailer.
That was so cool.
Really excited they did that. It looks pretty fantastic.
Not to like gush over it too much, and we'll get right back to Star Trek, but do you know of any other animated film that has anamorphic qualities to it?
Yeah, anamorphic. And the fact that they actually shrunk down or scaled the aspect ratio of lens flares and lens effects to mimic anamorphic properly. It's like, wow, that's some attention to detail.
So it's not a circular bokeh. It's the oval bokeh that you get an anamorphic.
Stretched, right?
Yeah.
Stretched vertically.
Yeah.
Yeah, what we're talking about is, oh God, how can we quickly sum up anamorphic technology in like 3 sentences to keep from going on about it for an hour?
That thing that squeezes stuff and then unsqueezes it.
They did that so that they could have a wider projection on older movies than they were shooting on film, right? So they would get lenses that would actually shoot wider, but then squeeze it down onto the film. So on the film, it would be squished. Everything would be squished. Or would we stretch that way?
No, it would be squished. Yeah, it'd be
Yeah.
squished. And the reason was they wanted to maximize the amount of aspect ratio they could get into the actual frame on film. Because if you were to film it unsqueezed on the frame, you would actually have unused, I don't want to say data, but it'd be unused real estate on each frame of the film. So they squeezed it to fill in all that space. And then when they would project it, they would have an anamorphic de-squeezer. I'm sure there's another name for it. But it would stretch the image back out so it was of the correct
proportions.
Proportions, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, because someone realized at some point that humans don't like looking at square pictures.
Yeah,
for
like
movies.
4/3.
Yeah, the old television, like cathode tube television. Standard. It's actually more pleasing if you have more horizontal resolution. That's why everything nowadays in HD is going to widescreen 16:9 format.
Yeah.
And in movies, you can watch things in even bigger format where films are literally 2 times as wide as they are tall.
2.35 is standard anamorphic.
That's anamorphic, yeah. So in the old days, to film that on regular, almost square film, they would squash the image down and then stretch it back out using lenses in the reprojection.
The funny thing is, there's like any number of aspect ratios you can get, like 235, 185, 18. I think like 19, and then isn't there like 192?
There's also 215, which is CinemaScope.
I don't know.
I think is what that is. I did an animated project at school one year.
It's all over the map.
Where the director wanted to use some goofy ass. He wanted to use like 2.48. He's like, yeah, it's CinemaScope extended. I'm like, nobody uses that.
That sounds like something that would be on 75 millimeter. Like, that's huge.
I think he got the idea. This is in college, so I think he got the idea from a film student. He was he's like, what's the craziest aspect ratio? He's like, oh, do like 2.4. I don't know. There was twirling of mustaches involved at this point. Anyways,
there's also a 1.77, I think, in there.
Yeah, that's 16:9.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, 16:9 is 1.77.
Oh, that's why it sounds familiar then.
Yeah, Barco Escape. If you shot that with a whole shitload of high resolution cameras, so you actually had good footage for those periphery side screens, I'm into the idea.
No, you wouldn't even have to do that. Okay, so what you would do is, so standard, what happens is they film something like at 4K, or if you're using a red dragon or a red weapon, it's 6K or now 8K.
Okay.
Right? So you film it at that high res, and then you down res it for your final delivery to 2K or thereabouts. Right? All you would have to do for the Barco Escape is don't down res those shots. Basically, just show the wider thing at 6K and have a few frames splashing over to the sides. Now, I know I'm simplifying it.
Yeah.
Right? But
there's that,
the problem was you could tell they down-resed it and then punched in back again because it was super grainy.
Yeah.
And it was like just shitty quality.
Because VFX wasn't working at 4K, I presume. I don't know that for sure.
Some of these shots, like, I don't think they really need... Well, I mean, they probably had some scene extension in some of these, but it was really awful where in like the hangar for the shuttle or something like that, within the same scene, it would go from a crash that was in Barco Escape with really shitty quality to a standard, like, everyone walking out of the room and it's crystal clear and like super sharp.
You can't just smash back and forth like that.
No, it was
so ham-handed.
So visually jarring. It was terrible.
Oh, that's awful.
But I cannot stress enough. That's the Barco Escape experience. You will never see that at home. If you buy the movie on DVD or Blu-ray or digital copy, whatever, it's going to be a wonderful experience, and it's gonna look good, and it's a really entertaining film. I hope that this movie makes its money back.
Yeah, me too.
Because they deserve it.
What's typical Netflix money for a good Netflix amount within the first year? Because first year is when you get the bulk of the money in it. I want to say like $16 million.
I don't even know. Like, I have no idea.
I think actually Netflix sells in flat rates where movie theaters get to like negotiate, like, all right, for the first year of our movie, you got to pay us like X million dollars.
Oh,
because
okay.
I don't believe Netflix does pay per click. I don't believe they do pay per watch.
But they do keep analytics on how long somebody watches something, but they don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Like, they're super close-chested about their data.
Yeah, did you see at one point in time someone actually found some extensions on the website where if you like put additional stuff into the address bar, you could access like the categories directly?
No way.
Yeah. You still couldn't get analytics, but you could see like it was weird. Like, you could find the keywords they actually used in their internal database to classify things.
Okay.
So like
some of those are really weird categories too.
Yeah, like snarky sex comedy was one of them, and like, I don't know, murder rape dungeon was one of them.
But they get really, really specific too. It'd be like snarky sex comedy with a moose. Like,
yeah, it was weird. Stuff like that.
How many movies actually fit that?
Yes, man, where Star Trek is standing right now, they don't stand a very good chance of making their money back, which sucks.
Do you think that if this is a big enough studio flop, that they're gonna just pull the plug?
On the current series, yeah, we'll see it come back. Star Trek is getting a TV show.
Oh, that's right.
I forget what it's called. They've had a couple teasers come out, but no trailers so far.
Yeah.
There's been like one teaser where they showed like the Enterprise passing the camera.
Yeah.
Another one where they show like, it's like a ship inside of an asteroid or something, like in a space station. I forget.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that it doesn't really show a whole lot, and it's not very like interesting, honestly. Like, it's all fully CG rendered. But there's just nothing going on. Like, they don't.
Well, it's what can you do to drum up, buzz for it?
Picture of the Enterprise. That's all they did
without actually having to cast anyone.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? And I get that because sometimes a studio will have to jump through the hoops and play the game where they need to like do a teaser here or there where they don't have anyone cast and it's like a last minute thing and they just need to do a splash screen, like you said, with the Enterprise just flying by the camera and pretty lights or whatever, and it drums up interest in the show or in the film and can sometimes be used to get funding. Like, that may actually be their pitch piece for investors or when they're shopping around to say, hey, we want to do this show.
And it makes sense. You could point to the ratings and be like, look how many fucking YouTube watches this one stupid picture. I shouldn't say stupid. This one picture of the Enterprise has.
I mean, internally they may call it like, look, we did this fucking thing and it's ridiculous, but look how crazy people are getting over it.
Want to know a fun fact about a TV show and a crazy thing?
What?
You've seen Lost, right?
No.
You've never seen Lost?
Okay. I made a point of watching one episode per season and then asking a friend, because at the time I was in college and I didn't have any time for
that makes sense.
That much investment in a show.
Watching it to get context.
So I would watch one episode and then I'd ask my friends afterwards because they had these Lost parties, right?
Oh, of course.
And I'd go, okay, so why did this happen and who is this person and what is their motive? And they would fill me in begrudgingly. And then I go, okay, I'm good.
Cool.
And
checking out from there.
Next season later, And what was awesome is when that show ended, I felt like I didn't really miss anything.
You know, honestly, you didn't. Good way to do it. Good on you.
The Cliff Notes way of watching Lost.
Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, you were saying.
So in the opening credits of Lost, or no, the opening like title card when it comes up, like they'll go through a cold open, and usually in the episodes, I think it's been a while since I watched them, and then like it'll cut to a black screen, and like the Lost logo comes floating up out of the void, like out of focus, and comes into focus as it passes the camera, right?
Okay.
If you look, there's all kinds of like creepy crawly like artifacts around the edges.
Yeah.
Of like, you know, the edges of the letters kind of sizzle a little bit in places. That was a quickly done concept piece by a CG generalist on set. For the life of me, I forget who it was. I talked to the guy. He told me this. He did it in Lightwave to show, I believe, J.J. Abrams, because he was very heavily involved in the first 3 seasons. And the crackling on the outside was a render like optimization issue because he didn't have the settings for ray tracing turned up high enough, and there was or like anti-aliasing noise around something and polygons like flickering. And Abrams loved it. He's like, that's cool. That's awesome. It's glitchy. It's scary. I like it. He's like, it's a render error. He's like, that's fine.
Oh, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah.
I've always wondered, not that one specifically, but I've always wondered in like show intros, because I've seen a couple of shows where there's like weird render errors and stuff like that, but they keep it for like 5 seasons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why don't you go back and just have somebody fix that? And they just, I don't know. They just won't.
You know what was weird? Was watching the new seasons of X-Files and watching them reuse the old 1990s intro, the original super shitty low-res 90s intro with the exact same music and no updates whatsoever.
It doesn't hold up at all, does it?
Not even close.
Oh,
not even remotely close. Like it's not even good enough to the point where I would say they kept it around for nostalgia's sake, because they really should have made it at least the right aspect ratio and the right resolution.
Oh no, was it 4/3 as well? Like
it must have been, because that was back in the day when it was in broadcast TV. And that was pre-Photoshop Illustrator, so they couldn't just like go resize it and reprint it. No, that was probably put together by some intern like who didn't have very long to assemble a title card sequence. No, I should
just yank the.
Because they didn't have like CG artists back in those days, especially not in the budget that show was running at. So that was just probably someone in the whatever studio that knew how to use what would have been around at that point, some Vegas Video or
was After Effects.
Maybe like an early version of After Effects or Premiere, something like that.
Maybe Premiere's been around for a while, right?
Yeah. I mean, like the Photoshop stuff's been around for a long time.
I remember getting started on Photoshop 4.
God,
I feel old.
So bad. You look back at demos of, like in screenshots back in the day, it's like, thank Christ.
Where are those tools anymore?
I know.
They disappeared. They're hidden beneath 12 layers of menus.
Anyway, where the fuck were we going with that? Star Trek was awesome. I liked it.
It was really good. I liked it. I thought it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I actually left that theater with a stupidly huge grin on my face.
Like fully acknowledging all the weird technological faults and the strange leaps of logic that all the Star Trek movies have been plagued with.
Yeah.
You heard my criticism about Into Darkness. The story was batshit and none of it made any sense. Everything was based on assumptions.
Another spoiler.
Yeah.
This actually, I didn't think of it when I was in the theater, but the villains from all 3 of the new Star Trek movies all come from the past. They're all
shit.
Yeah. So the first one, Eric Banda's the mining guy, whatever.
Yeah, the Romulan dudes who were like, you fucked up our planet, and like, we didn't do that yet.
Yeah. They went through that wormhole or whatever the shit it was.
Yeah.
And then
Khan,
who is like frozen,
cryogenically frozen with his crewmates for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, and then now this villain is like 300 some odd years old.
Yeah, really.
So if they just go back in time and just you could fix everything by just getting rid of the past.
Yeah, come on. Shit, what's his name? The guy that plays Spock. Siler on Heroes.
I had his name.
Damn it! Oh, it was in my brain and now it's gone. Yeah, I mean, old Spock figured it out. Leonard Nimoy figured it out. Why can't you?
Zachary Quinto.
Thank you, God.
His picture looks good
for IMDb.
Yeah.
Let's see it.
He's like, let me pull it up. He's like eye fucking me right now.
He has got some intense eyes. Yeah, I'm into
that hair.
You watched Heroes, right?
No.
He was pretty good as a villain. I got to say, of the
character, a
villain. Well, it kind of.
Okay.
I mean, are you worried for him to spoil Heroes?
I'm never gonna watch it.
Don't watch. No, watch the first season. It's kind of good.
All right, fine.
Like, and then just like accept that things got weird after that. Yeah, he plays another superpowered being who is a little bit cracked. And he's really, really good as a villain.
Yeah. No.
One of the problems in later seasons, I'll go ahead and spoil later seasons for you. In later seasons, they they weaken his character by making him related to one of the main quote unquote hero characters.
I hate that.
Oh, it's so shit.
When everybody's related to everybody.
I really hate that.
It's like the fucking South of television drama.
Yeah, it's lazy bullshit writing.
They did that in not Skyfall, Spectre.
Yeah.
The James Bond. I was like, fuck, really? You could have left that out entirely, and this movie would have been 1,000 times better.
It needed none of that.
Yeah.
None of it whatsoever.
Yeah. Anyway,
anything
else on Star Trek? Or are we done?
Good times.
Go see it.
Hope they make the money back.
Yeah, go see it if you can. And then you mentioned
Bojack Horseman.
You
Yeah, Bojack
wanted
Horseman.
to talk about Bojack.
Yes, because we finally seen season 3.
Season 3 on Netflix.
Oh, so good.
Man, okay, I'm mixed about this. I know you love it. I feel like once I kind of came to grips with the fact that it's not a comedy show. It's like it's a sad docudrama.
Yeah.
With little snippets of comedy, then I actually started to like the show a lot more.
It's a Hollywood-flavored dissertation on a man's life just disintegrating.
Yeah, mostly because of the
fact that he's a horse.
No, it's the...
Oh, no, what you said.
The television and film industry is destroying him. And his own personal demons, but...
Oh, God.
I mean, it was funny at times.
That part... Okay, disclaimer, we're going to get all fucking spoiler about BoJack season 3, so please go watch it if you haven't. It's so good. The part at the end where Todd tells him, dude, it's just you. It's not your career. It's not your past. It's not the people who wronged you. It's not the alcohol. It's just you. You're fucked up and broken.
It's fucking real.
Jesus. That's dark as shit.
But it was good.
So good.
I think, and this is one I'm not going to spoil, but the underwater episode was actually, like, it was heartfelt, uplifting, funny as shit, but like not until the very end.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my favorite episodes.
It was weird and like melodramatic. Not melodramatic. It was melancholy, is what it was. Where he's trapped, sort of alone and isolated. And you know what? That's sort of like a representation of what his life is supposed to be. He's trapped underwater, where he can't understand anybody. He has no idea what's going on.
He's
just going from place to place, babbling and moving his mouth and smiling so the cameras like him.
Because he's got that helmet that allows him to just, live underwater or breathe underwater, but everyone is speaking in fish.
I love that shit
so
much.
Like you can't tell what they're saying.
So fun. And I love how he goes there and the customs are all weird and everything's strange and unfamiliar, like he'd gone to like India or China or someplace like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was good.
God, it was so good.
Yeah, no, I think I would like to see another season, and I'm not sure, how long it's gonna be because I burned through that in like less than a week.
Oh yeah, it's only like 6 weeks old, right? Season 3,
something like that.
I think that's when it came out.
It's gonna be another year before we see another one.
Probably so.
I don't know what they've bought. What Netflix has purchased.
Oh yeah, I haven't heard of it. Let me
like how many seasons they've got.
Vamp for like 2 seconds. I'll see if they got approved for season 4.
Damn it, Kiefer! I had like 3 seconds worth of sentence and content left.
Say it extremely slowly.
So the new not gonna do that. I could just put elevator music here. No, that show. The first season was extraordinarily funny, and I thought that the second season went a little too dark for my taste. The third season was not as dark, but it didn't require as much of the same. Like, it didn't need to be as funny as the first season in order for me to still like it. It had a different feel and different flavor to it because the characters are evolving, and it's good to see that Todd is starting to get a little bit more of a backbone, and he's not just like a layabout loof kind of thing. Like he's not so much a leaf on the wind anymore. He's actually driving his own.
Yeah,
like he's got some sort of a drive to develop his own like path in life. And I don't think he sleeps on Bojack's couch at all in season 3.
Mostly because he hates Bojack's guts for sabotaging his space opera.
Oh gosh, that's right. I forgot about that one.
With character actress Margot Robbie. No,
she's
Margot
in
Margaret, not Margot
Martinson.
Robbie. Margot Martinson.
Yeah.
God damn it! Now she's gonna kill me.
Margot Robbie is in Suicide Squad.
Yes.
And Whiskey Tango Foxtrot and.
Oh, that's right. That must have come out by now. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. Right?
Oh yeah, weeks and weeks ago.
What was the reviews on that? Was it good?
I can't remember.
No,
I heard it was good. It was Tina Fey. Right?
Yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it at some point.
I actually want to see that one.
Yeah.
And then another one that she's in recently is Tarzan.
Margot Robbie?
Yeah, she plays Jane.
Oh, cool.
And the live action one that just came out with what's his name, something Skarsgård. And
Yeah.
Janae really wanted to see that one because he's apparently like super muscular and never wears clothes.
Okay, yeah.
Apparently
man
there was a female film critic, I think, that wrote an article on it where she was talking about the film as it started, and then he gradually like had less and less clothing on, and then by the end of it he was just running around in a loincloth. And then her article was just nothing but how he looked. Like, it had some context, and it was just like, and then all I could look at was that muscly V at his hip.
All right.
And like, just,
yeah.
I don't remember what else happened. Like, she just forgot what the movie was.
Well, the chicks can have their man candy with that, but the dudes can have our laugh candy with Bojack Season 4 that was approved by Netflix.
Nice.
Has been renewed immediately following the reception of Season 3.
Okay.
So
That's good.
More of that to look forward to in a year or whatever.
I'm hoping that it's going to get back to where Season 1 was.
I don't know.
Me personally.
I hope this is the season where Bojack overdoses or something. I sort of like it when things are cut not cut short, but not left to drag out. Well, whatever's going to happen happens. I don't want this show to just get dragged into the dirt.
Oh.
Like
Lost was.
Like Lost was. We were just talking about that a second ago. Yeah. That show, even though the producers and the writers swore that they knew where it was going from the very beginning.
They were fucking lying.
They didn't know they had 6 seasons to go in that show. I think it was 6 seasons by the end of it, 5 seasons, whatever it was.
Oh my gosh.
When they hit 3rd season and time travel came up, I'm like, all right, really?
Yeah. Man. All right. You got anything else on the list?
No, I think I just want to wish everyone a happy weekend. So, by the way, you're only supposed to listen to this episode on Fridays. If you were listening to it on anything other than Friday, stop it right now, and then replay this end when I say happy weekend.
That's not even remotely true.
I know.
Where'd you get that?
Shut the fuck up.
Listen to it whenever you want. Listen to it often.
Go ahead and sign us out of the show.
You've been listening to The Film Buzz with Matt and Eric. If you want to reach us, we can be found on Twitter @TheFilmBuzz or email us podcast@thefilmbuzz.com. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more, go ahead and hit like, subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you're listening to us, Stitcher, Google Music. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. Matt.
Eric.
Have a good night.
Thanks for listening.